October 29th, 2015, just a little over a week ago, will be remembered as a day when freedom itself was attacked. On that dark day, Iran's principled opposition to clerical rule was targeted with more than 80 Iranian-made rockets. 24 brave men and women paid the ultimate price. Dozens more were injured, and thousands were traumatized. These individuals sacrificed their lives and safety in repeated acts of valiant resistance. As missiles rained down on the refugees, more than 80, as I said, in total, these courageous individuals tended to the wounded. They protected the vulnerable. And they documented the tragedy unfolding before them so that the world could see the barbarism that they faced. And I would offer this observation to all of you. We've seen this type of heroism before in American history. As Secretary Ridge noted, these were mothers and fathers, sons and daughters, brothers and sisters, friends and relatives. These were individuals who reflected the hopes of a nation. They were unarmed and idealistic, and they inspired young people to believe. Maybe most importantly, they inspired minority voices to think that the future could be brighter than the past. These were individuals who believed in intellect and enlightenment, progress and responsibility. They were optimistic in the face of extraordinary challenges and extraordinary odds because they believed in the people's ability to throw off the chains of their oppressors. Now, to be clear, as an academic, I never knew any of these individuals who lost their lives. I've never met any of them personally. But let me be very clear. They were my friends. We shared a common cause. We worked to uphold the same principles and the same commitments, and we shared common ideals. Together, we believed that every man, every woman, every child in Iran should have an opportunity to live in a free nation and to build a brighter future, to push for more inclusion and more tolerance and more pluralism. The horrendous violence of October 29th reflects what happens when appeasement is triumphant over courage, when we fail to protect the human cost of inaction and the failed strategy of capitulation to rogue regimes. The attack was likely carried out by elements of the Iranian regime in the Iraqi ruling establishment, and we know this because this violence isn't new. The attack is just the most recent example of the Iranian regime's continued state sponsorship of terrorism in spite of the nuclear agreement. The residents were targeted because they remain the best hope of overcoming the Ayatollahs. The world's shift to a pro-engagement policy with Tehran facilitated the decision to crack down on these individuals who were promoting freedom and promoting democracy and promoting gender equality, the rule of law, and upholding human rights and striving for a non-nuclear Iran. Ladies and gentlemen, I would suggest to you that this isn't just a matter of compliance with international law. It's also about doing what's right. U.S. officials, world officials, have a responsibility to protect the refugees at Camp Liberty and to keep their word. The U.S. government knows what's happening. The United Nations knows what's happening. The world knows what's happening. But now these crimes against humanity need to be answered, and justice needs to be served. The attack on liberty is outrageous, and it's time to separate fact from fiction. It's time we acknowledge once and for all Iraqi and Iranian responsibility, because this unholy alliance undermines not just U.S. interests and regional security, but it reinforces the status quo in the Middle East. But in the weeks ahead, Congress, this institution of democracy, this beacon of freedom, needs to work to build bipartisanship around the need for accountability and action from the Iraqi government. Congress can also independently use its leverage to only allow funds and arms and training to the Iraqi government after it has ensured in a credible way, in a transparent way, the protection of the residents of Camp Liberty. But more than anything, Congress needs to know what the Iranian opposition has known for a long time, and that is that the regime fears internal dissent more than they fear external threats. The Liberty residents know that principled acts of civil disobedience can reveal the true motives of the bullies before them, that principled resistance causes the arc of the moral universe to bend towards justice. And so as we honor the values and the principles and the commitments of those whose lives were taken, I again extend my sympathies and my condolences. But I also extend my endless optimism that change will come to Iran, and the values upheld by these men and women will be the inspiration of that new dawn. So I thank you for allowing me to share my thoughts with you today. There's much work to do ahead, and I look forward to engaging in that work alongside you.